This
every day.
conference will now be recorded.
Now today I'm going to discuss about control statements, iterative statements, and transfer statements in Python. So what are the control statements are present in Python, and what are the iterative statements and transfer statements we will discuss in this session. Right. First we'll start with the iterative statements. Then after that we'll go with the control statements will start. Control statements. Control statements. Next, iterative statement. Iterative statements. Next, transfer statement. Transfer statements. These are the different types of statements are there. Yes, operators will be in the next session immediately. Okay, don't worry, that is very simple. Now coming to the point, control statements, iterative statements, transfer statements. These are the three statements are there in the Python. Then first one by one we'll look into practically. So control statements. Control statements are used to control the flow of execution. It will use it to control the flow of execution. So what are the control statements are they here? If statement, simple if statement, if statement. Next one is if else statement, if else statement, if else statement. Next one is nested if statement, nested if, nested if, nested if, nested if statement, nested if statement. Next one is elif, elif, elif. So these are the control statements are there. In Python there is no switch case. Okay, there is no switch case. Only if statement, if else statement, nested if statement, elif statement. So first we'll go with the if statement. It is used to test the specified condition. It is used to test. It is used to test specific condition. Specific condition. Specific condition. If the condition is true, then if block will be executed. If the condition is true, if the condition is true, then if block will be executed. If block is execute. If the condition is true, then if block is execute. Otherwise nothing will be execute. Okay, it is used to test specific condition. If the condition is true, then if block is execute, otherwise nothing will be execute. I'm saying so. If statement, it is simple if statement. Let's see the logic actually. For example, here x value 100 I'm giving. Here I'm testing the condition. If x equals to 100, then print inside the, if I'm writing one print statement, it is print if block only, then true will come. So control will jump into here first. X value will be assigned, 100 value will be assigned to x. After that, 100 equal to 100 it will be test. If it is true, then it will be print true. Otherwise, nothing will be executed. Here in this case, true no. So obviously, true will be print. So what happen if my value is that is has double code? Uh, Double code is operator that is called what we can say Boolean operator, testing comparison operator. It will be x equal to 10 means equal to in the sense assignment operator only. Single equal to is assignment, double equal to is compare. Okay, now you can see x value 10, 10 equal to 100. No means it will be jump into out of the block. If out of the block, if block what was there, nothing was there. That's what nothing is going to display. So instead of this here, sir, my condition is false, no? Then even though my condition is false, I want to display something to the user, then we can use else block. Okay, there is called if else statement is there, no? If else statement. So if the if else statement means what? If condition is false, then only else block will be executed. If the if condition is false, then only else block will be executed. Then only then on else block will be executed. Else block will be executed. Otherwise, it will not execute. Else block only will execute when the if condition is false. If the condition is true, else block will be ignored. So else part I'm writing. Then after that, print false. So now this case here you can see false message will come because condition will be test. There is false condition. Okay, condition is not satisfied. Then immediately control will jump into else block. Else block inside what we have written, that will be print. So let's keep the breakpoint here and here also, which block is executing properly, you can able to find out. So after that, run debug sample. Once we start a debug sample, now you can see, just wait. Debugger started, no? After that, you have to do press F8. So condition is going to be test x value 10 equal to 100. Is this true? No. Press F8, again it goes to where? False. That means directly else block is going to jump. If block is ignored simply. So this is what if else statement actually. If condition is true, what happen? If block only will execute. You can see run debug sample, press F8, press F8. So 100 equal to 100 true. Printed true is coming. Else block is simply ignored. So that is, if the condition is true, then else block will execute. If the condition is false, then if the condition is true, if block will execute. If condition is false, else block will execute. Else is only execute when the condition is false. Otherwise, else will not execute. That is called if else statement. We can say that. So many cases we can use if else statement actually here. Suppose you can see I want to calculate some. This is number. This number is even number or odd number. So what we can say that n equals to x module to calculation I'm doing in other variable. n equals to x module 2 equal to 0. Then what we can say here, I have to compare. So if n equal to so we have to n equal to x module 2. After that, n equal to 0, then what I have to do? Even number. Then after that, otherwise odd number, I have to do that. 5 is even or odd number. So obviously it goes to odd. Suppose if I'm changing my number is 6, then 6 modulus 2 equal to 0, then it is even. So like this we can calculate. Our variable, our data is available in x, then we are performing again this x module to operation. It will be result stored in the n value. Again n value is going to be compared, but it's very lengthy. So what we need to do directly, we can able to pass like this. Here only we can you can pass the expression. So x module 2 equal to 0. Here only we can pass. Then simply it is going to be written true or false. Clearly there only calculate. 6 is even number and 8 is odd number. Like this we can do that. So runtime also we can able to perform. Runtime also. Okay. Otherwise we can see what whether it is even or not. X is even. I have to find out x is even. Then here x is odd. I want to do that. X is odd. So x value going to be replaced. 7 is odd. Suppose now I'm taking 4. 4 is even. Like this it will be displayed. 4 is even. So here runtime also we can able to accept the value. Suppose int of input of I'm using enter number. So int is used for what? conversion, because in the previous session I told when we enter runtime any value that will be treated as string values, so you have to be converted into form. So that's what I'm using int of input of enter number. So input function is used to accept input values from the user side. So once we execute, it will ask enter number. So randomly you have to enter the number. So any number we can use, no problem at all. Like this. So this is simple if else part, we are going to do that if else condition. Okay. So this is what whether the number is given given number, yeah, that is not what we can see 4 5 6. How I can give 4 5 6 like this? You can see invalidator. This is called list format. Okay, it's not workout actually. So you can give the numbers one by one in the collection of items, sequence of items we can't use, or else you're expecting, I think this is only 4 5 6 like this. I hope so. You cannot give space because you know very well in the input values are anyway, even one space also given, that will be calculated as a character in in our coding pattern. So even one space also will be there, that will be character formatted. So there is no space, there is no value inside the 4 and 5 between, 5 and 6 between, like this it won't accept. So clearly input string is not correct format. In that cases we have to handle exception. Actually runtime error is coming here. So exception time we'll discuss how to handle this guy. User is enter invalid data, how to restrict the user, how to provide restriction, do not enter any invalid data, like that. So this is what simple if else part. So if else part, so simple if block is used to test the specific condition. If the condition is true, then if block is execute, otherwise nothing will execute. If else statement, if the if condition is false, that if the if condition is false, then only else block will execute, otherwise nothing will execute. Coming to the point, nested if. What is nested if? So nested if is nothing but if an if block or else block which is having one more if else, an if block or else block which is having one more if else, that is called nested if condition. Or else we can say nested if in the sense an if within the if block which is having one more if within it is known as nested if. That is simple logic. So let's try with nested if how it will work. Multiple condition. So what is the use of nested if? It is used to test multiple condition. It is used to test multiple conditions. It is used to test multiple conditions. Multiple condition. So multiple condition, how it is possible to test, we'll check out. For example here uh, a value I have given a value 8. Okay, a value 10 I'm giving, a value 10 given. If a less than what we can say a is less than 15, a is less than a is less than 9, a is less than 9. So print what I want to do, condition 1 is true, condition 1 is true. Then next immediately one more else block here, else. Inside the else, if I am going to test one more condition, so a less than 8, sorry, here we can make 8, here we can make 9. Then here print condition 2 is true, condition 2 is true. Then else block here I want to do all conditions are false, all conditions are false, I'm saying. Simple logic. A value decided, no, 10 value. So 10 will be compared with this one. 10 less than 8, no. 10 less than 8, no. So that's what immediately else part will be jump. In the else part, one more if is written, no. Then again it will check out what, 10 less than 9, no, no. Now condition 2 is true, it is coming. Then 10 less than 9, it is no, no. So immediately if both, if nested if is going to be if block within the, if you can say this nested if, you can say it is used to test multiple condition, and else block will go all conditions are false. So condition number 1 false, obviously it goes to else, and condition number 2 is false, obviously it goes to else, then remaining result is what? All conditions are false. All conditions are false. For example, here I'm comparing a less than or equals to 10, or less than or equals to 10, or else we can compare with a equals to 10. So a equals to 10 comparison, no? So less than 8, first condition is checking, it is false. Immediately it goes to what? Else part. In the else part, if block is correctly executed, because a equal to 10, it's correct only. So condition 2 is true will be there. So there is no chance of this else part. There is no chance of it else part here. So only condition 2 is true like this. So when I execute, condition 2 is true. Now it is coming clearly here. Okay. Suppose what happened in the first condition only correct. First condition only correct means like this. First condition only is it's right now. So a equals to 10 I'm giving. So if the first condition is true, then directly it is going to be execute this one. So no more, no chance of else block like this. So this is what nested if to test multiple condition. Within the if else block, you want to keep any number of if else block, you can keep on test multiple condition. So this is called nested if, we can say that. And one more important thing here. So where we can use elif keywords are, where we can use elif keyword. I will tell. Elif keyword is used in special cases actually. So this is also can be used to test multiple conditions, but in different way. You can see I'll write one simple program, then exactly where we can use elif keyword I will tell you. Suppose I want to accept the value at runtime. So int of input of enter a number, enter a number, enter a number. So user will enter a number. I want to test the condition like if x equals to 1. If x equals to 1 means, then what I want to print like this. Next, if one more if condition I want to do that. If x equals to 2, then print 2. I'm going to do that. Print 2. Print 2. Next, if x equals to 3, print 3. Print 3. Last one, if x equals to 4, print 4. This is my conditions 4. Else finally I want to go to print invalid number. So this is very simple program I am writing. So x value I have to accept at running time. So user will enter the value of x at running time. So that x value is going to be comparely keep on x equal to 1 means ONE, x equal to 2 means TWO, x equal to 3 means 3, like this. If any number is not entered, so 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, then user will enter what? A user should get what? Invalid number like this. So for example, here I'm going to enter 8. Obviously, invalid number. In this case, no problem at all. For example, if I'm entering 4, 4 is there, no? FOUR 4 is coming like this, 4. Now, the problem with this example is if I'm enter 2, okay, 2. So, why it is happening actually? TWO came. So, according to our condition, it's coming TWO, but immediately it shows what? Invalid number. Even you can see not only 2, even whenever I'm going to write 1 invalid number, 1 is printing ONE1, 3 THR is printed invalid number. Sir, you may get why 4 is printed, no, why invalid number is not coming 4, because this if is immediately preceded with what? Else block. So the interpreter will consider if this condition is false, then immediately it goes to else. But if this condition is true, no, then else part will not be chance. But why if these conditions are true also it is going? Because first conditions will be check starts from where? If x equals to 1. Suppose I entered value 2. So 2 equal to 1. It's not correct. Immediately next condition will test. 2 equal to true, print 2. Then after that, once this 2 equal to print 2 condition is satisfied, also then control will jump into again to test third condition. 2 equal to 3, obviously false. 2 equal to 4, obviously false. You know, if any one of the if condition is false, immediately it goes to where? Else part. That's what it's going. Okay, so the problem is, in if any one of the if condition is true, then I don't want to go to what we can say. If any one of the if condition is true, I don't want to check remaining ifs actually. So but here what's happening, if any one of the if conditions true also, then remaining if conditions also checking clearly. That's not good actually. Let me show you with keeping breakpoint. So one doubt I'm going to clarify. If value is entered 4 only, correct only, sir, why it's not coming? In the sense, this if block is immediately preceded with what? Else block. So it will be consideration. This is x equal to 4. True means else will not execute. If it is false, any false, it will be execute else part every time. So let's check out what condition is going to check properly here. Immediately I'll show you by keeping breakpoint. Now run debug sample. So I'm going to enter some value. Press F8. Oh, it's just wait. Even we are not going to. Yes. So press F8. It's ask number. So I'm going to enter number 2. Then press enter. It's going to be test x equal to 1. No. X equal to 2. Yes, printed 2. But even it is printed 2, immediately x equal to 3 is checking. X equal to 4 checking. Because of this false, invalid also checking. Invalid number is coming like this. But so what is the problem here? If any one of the if condition is true also, remaining if also going to be tested. So that is not good practice. So that's what we can use, what? elif keyword. So what is the use of elif keyword? You can see elif, elif, else if. If what is the specialty of elif? In the sense, you have multiple if blocks to test. If any one of the block is true, then remaining if the remaining blocks will not be checked, remaining blocks will not be test actually. So now let's run this debug sample with elif. As usual, it is asking number. You have to enter that number. Press F8. Press F8 console. Now I'm going to enter 2. Now observe carefully. First condition is false. 2 is correct now. 2 is printed. Immediately 2 is correct, 2 is printed. No need to test any condition, 3 value, 4 value like this. Directly it will jump into out of the loop. Then it's coming 2 only out of the if conditions. So this is called elif keyword we can use in that particular cases actually. You have multiple conditions, but any one of the condition is true. Remaining condition also still you want to execute, then directly we can use if. But whenever you don't want to execute one of the condition is satisfied, remaining if is not required, sir, directly I need to print something means then we can use what we can say elif keyword. So elif keyword is used for that only. Okay, so this is what if statement, if else statement, nested statement, elif statement, these are all the statements are called control statements, we can say that control statements. So using this we can control the flow of execution with the blocks of code. So now coming to the iterative statement. Iterative statements means loops like for loop, while loop. So in Python there is no do, loop, all those things. Okay, only for loop, while loop. So iterative statements. These statements are used to these statements are used to iterate the elements, iterate the elements, iterate the elements, iterate the elements which are which are present in sequence. Iterate the elements which are present in sequence, what the order, what the order they appear, what the order they appear. So iterative statements are used to iterate the elements which are present in sequence, what the order they appear. Suppose we have discussed already list data structure or some collection data structures we discussed, no, basic idea. So I want to print a list of elements one by one iteration through. Then we can use for loop. Iterative statements are used to iterate the elements which are present in sequence. Sequence means any data type like list or set or tuple, what the order they appear, I'm saying. So for example, let us consider this is my list LST. So here 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements are there. Directly, whenever I'm trying to print this one, so what happened here? Directly list format only we got an output, list format. Okay, but I want to print these elements one by one through iterative. So for that we can use for loop here, for loop. So in this for loop, the syntax of for loop is this one here. In the Python, the syntax of for loop is this one. For variable variable in is a keyword sequence. Okay, so now statement here, whatever you want to print statement that you have to use. So for variable in is a keyword sequence statement, for variable in sequence statement. So this is for loop actually here. For for I is a variable, in sequence means list. So one by one element I want to print I am giving. So now this time iterative, the elements are like this, 2, 3, 4, 6 format it's going to be print, 2, 3, 4, 6 for. So now you can see every iteration, you can see, look at here, for I in list, I is loop variable, in is a keyword, in where it has to be checked, LST, list means LST. So let's check out here whether it will be treat one by one iteration or all the elements at a time it will be stored. Let me check out. Inside the print itself, can we use for loop to display like single in the, yes, nested loop we can say. I will show you, just wait. Nested loop we can say, a loop which is having one more loop within it is called nested loop. I'll do that just. So press F8, press F8, it's going to be, yes, I value 2, I value 3, I value 4. Every iteration it's going to be treated directly values and it will be print like this. Okay, right. So I want to print every list is having some different data type elements now. Like is 3.4 is there. So suppose A is there, A is there. Okay. Then what we can say SAI is there. So different data type elements also. Will it read? Yes, it will read. Now you can see 2, 3.4, A, 5, psi. So every day, every item type I want to know. So for example, if I say like this, print LST, print LST, print LST, type of LST, type of LST, type of LST. So what you will get using type function? Type function is used to get the type of list. Type of list is what? List type only. But I want to know each item type actually. So each item type in the sense what you want to what you have to give, print print type of type of type of I, type of I. Every item I want to print type. What type it is? You can see first number 2, it is integer type. Second number 3.4, it is float type. Third value A, string. Fifth integer, SI string. Like this we can able to get like this. So what happen if I'm removing this one like this, print type of I? So last element what type it is? String type, no? So it written only string type only. Because after completion of number of iterations, how many iterations? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 iterations, we are printing this only, you know. I value can hold last iteration value psi, it's going to be print that type of data type. Suppose 5 only there. Last iteration is what? 5. 5 type is what? Integer. So if you want to know the each and every list data type element type you want to know, then within the iteration only, within the for loop only, we have to use a type function for I. That means every data type variable you want to know, then you can get it clearly like this. So this is for loop. It is used to iterate the elements. It is used to iterate the elements which are present in sequence, what the order they appear. So same order only it will be iterate the elements. Whatever you have the list in each order it is having, that same order only it will be displayed like this. Now nested loop also is possible. Nested loop in the sense a loop which is having one more loop within it is within it is called nested loop. So for example, I have one list is called num list number list. We have 2 3 4 is there. Now I have another list called char list. We have char list. ABC is there, A, B, then C. So char list. So I want to print I want to print for loop for n means number list, for n in num list, for n in num list, print n, print n. Then after that, here one more loop I'm taking, but it's not for loop, for c in char list, c in char list, then print n, print n, print n. So this time we can see we got an output like this. Oh, 2 3 4, something wrong, just wait. Print n only we are printing, print c. So now we can see first loop which is belongs to number list, second loop which is belongs to character list. So now when I execute this, it's coming like this. So 2 3 4 ABC, 2 3 4 ABC, like this. 2 3 4 in the sense here, 2 3 4 first iteration, 2 3 4 values are coming, second iteration, ABC values are coming like this one. Okay, this is, but this is this inner loop? No. Is this nested loop? No. So whenever I remove like this is called inner loop, we can say that. Inner loop within the loop is called nested loop, or else a outer loop which is having inner loop within it is called nested loop, we can say that. So here inside the loop is there, no, that is inner loop, outside the loop, that is outer loop. And how it will be execute? Actually, first control jump into outer loop. Outer loop starts with iteration 1, that is num list 2 will be print. So immediately after 2 printed, it goes to where? Inner loop. Inner loop will be test what? C. C is num list, no? A will be print from character list. C is character list. So it will be print A only. So after outer loop element 2 printed, inner loop element A will be print, but still there are 2 more elements are there inside the inner loop, that is called character list. Again, next iteration will be happen B, C. After completion of ABC, then next outer loop will starts with next iteration, that is 3. So output is coming like 2 ABC, 3 ABC, 4 ABC, like this. So the flow of execution of inner loop and outer loop like this only. First, whatever outer loop is there, first iteration will start from outer loop. Then after then after inside inner loop, how many number of iterations are there, that all it will be complete. Then after only next iteration will be starts from outer loop only. So this is what inner loop, outer loop, nested loop, we can say. Let me show just quickly what loop is going to be iterate elements. Let me show you. First iteration starts from outer loop, no? Yes. So num list, char list already decided. Press F8. First num n value 2, C value A, C value B, C value C, like this. After that again next iteration 3, 3 ABC, like this. Next 4, 4 ABC. Okay, it's coming like this. So console window is available 2 ABC, 3 ABC, 4 ABC, like this. Okay, so this is about for loop, nested for loop, we can say that. So iterate the elements which are present in sequence, what the order they appear. Next, there is a loop called while loop. While loop. So while loop is used to display or execute number of statement until the condition is false. Once the condition is false, control will jump into out of the loop. Okay, so next for while loop. So while loop is used while loop is used to execute while loop is used to execute number of statements until the condition is false. Condition is false. Once the condition, yes, until the condition is false. Once the condition is false, then control will jump into out of the loop. Control will jump into out of the loop. So while condition is while condition, syntax it is while condition, then statements, any valid statements we can write like this, while condition statements. Okay, next let me show you one example. Suppose I equals to 0, I value 0, I want to start while while I less than 6 or 7, whatever it is. Then what I want to print I. Okay, print I. So every time I will be increment, so I plus equals to 1. What is this I plus equals to 1? I plus equals to 1 is similar to I equal to I plus 1. I equal to I plus 1 like this. Okay, same is. So next, let's run this. It starts from where? 0. Why? Because here simple logic. 0 less than 6, it's print 0. Immediately 0 equal to 0 plus 1, 1. 1 less than 6, true, 1 print. 2 less than 6, like this, keep on increment. So this is what for loop is used to iterate the elements of the collect elements until the condition is false. Once the condition is false, control will jump into out of the loop. Control will jump into out of the loop. 6 less than 6, it's false. So that's out of the loop only. So here only we can use these are the transfer statements. We can use transfer statements. Transfer statements means what? Break and continue. Transfer statements. Break, break, and continue. What it will do, sir, actually? So break statement is used to stop iteration. Iteration is used to stop iteration even the condition is true. Even the condition is true. Break statement is used to stop the iteration even the condition is true. Next, continue statement is used to stop current iteration. Continue statement is used to stop current iteration, then continue with the next iteration. Then continue with the next iteration. Continue with the next iteration. That is the advantage. That is the purpose actually. Break statement is used to stop current iteration. Even the condition is true also, it will be immediately stopped. Wherever you want to break according to your condition, you have to use. Continue statement is used to stop current iteration. Only current iteration will stop. Then it will continue with the next iteration. Let me show you that. For example, you can see this. Whenever I'm going to reach us to, like, if I equals to 3, then break I want to do that. Whenever I reach to I equal to 3, then break. That means what? When I reach to I equal to 3, break means it stopped the iteration completely. Yes, it is stopping the iteration. Even though 4 5 it's true, 4 5 value is true, it is truly printed actually, but even though it will not check out. So that is break is used to stop the current iteration. Break is used to stop the current iteration. Yes, we can use a continue statement. So continue statement means what? Whenever I reaches to some condition, I want to continue. Okay, so where I have to use continue statement, you can see immediately here I have to increase the value first in this case. Then in this case, if I equals to 3, then what I want to use? Continue with the next one. So continue with the next one in the sense only in this output 3 is not printed. You can see this 3 1 2 3 is not printed. No, yes. Why 3 is not printed? Whenever I reach it to 3, then it will be stop the current iteration. That means it will not print 3. Then 4 5 6 it will be continue 4 5 6. Okay, so let me wait. Yes, this is correct format. Now you can see 4 5 6 to 3 will not be printed. 3 will not be printed. So that means what? Continue will ignore only whenever I reaches to 3. Then it will continue with the next iteration. So break is not like that. Break is used to stop the iteration even the condition is true also. Completely break will stop the iteration. Immediately next condition will not check, next will not be print at all. Continue in the sense your condition only will be stop the iteration, remaining all will be continue as it is. So that is continue. So we can use this using for loop also. So for with continue, for with break. Suppose x equals to 1 2 3 4 5 6, here you can see 7. These are the iterative elements, 6 7 8. So print well, what we can see, for loop I'll do for I in x, then print I. So whenever I reaches to, if I equals to 4, then what I want to do, break. Then what will happen now this time? So 4 is reaches, no, 1 2 3 only will be print. Whenever I reach to 4, then it will not print. Suppose even whenever I reach to 4, 4 current iteration will be skip. Current iteration only will be stopped. Then next iteration will be continue. Next iteration is what? 1 2 3. 4 is not there. That means 5 6 7 8 is coming like this. So this is what current continue statement and break statements are transfer statements. Transfer statement means your flow of execution will be transferred with stopping current iteration or with continue with next iteration. Using break and continue is possible. So this is about control statements, transfer statements, and iterative statements. We can say that. Yes, all is ready. All are ready in the document. Okay. For sure, tomorrow I'll send to all of you people whoever registered successfully. Then I'll send all my recorded videos from the beginning to up to today what I discussed with material. Also, I'll send tomorrow session completely, no doubt at all. Okay, I'll take confirmation from my team today finally. So I'll send all the recorded videos to you. And yes, I'll send, no problem at all. Notes also I'll send. I have 220 pages notes documents is it. I'll send to you. Okay, in that document everything in detail clearly I mentioned. You can please check, go through that document clearly. Okay, this is about control statements, iterative statements, and transfer statements. These statements in our data structures discussion and everywhere in object oriented also we will discuss, we will use completely these all those things. Okay, so in immediately next session I'll discuss about simple topic like operators topic. Then after that we will go with some what we can say, data structures in detailed, what kind of operations we can apply on each data structure we will discuss. Okay, so anything need to be asked? So see you tomorrow at same. Sir, any Django class are you planning? So up to now no planning, but maybe in future I'll decide. Okay, I'll decide. I'll let you know that for sure. That if I'll start, I'll intimate to all my students. Those who are interested, can you please join that Django session also? Yes. How many day it will take? What it will take? Python or you are asking, or Django you're asking? Django it takes minimum 2 months. Even Python also it takes 45 days to 55 sessions, 55 days required. Minimum 45 days. Yes. Yeah. So thanks for attending those who are newly attended. Okay. So our people will send that previous session videos also. Already, let me show you. Already, those who are attending new, you want to check. Yeah. That also I'll share that. Those who are attending new, you can check out my previous recorded videos with this class only. With this class only, just go to YouTube. Tugasoft online videos. There is a playlist option. in this playlist option, somewhere you are going, yes, Python tutorials by Mohan Reddy, it is there. No, you can see this, my previous last 3 lectures will be uploaded. So you can watch it now by clicking on it, okay, clearly. Those who are attending new only, simple logic. Durgasoft online training videos, playlist, and Python tutorials by Mohan Reddy. You can click on it so you can able to watch these videos. Previously, those who are missed 1 or 2 sessions, it will be covered. Anyway, after that register, then I'll send all videos again to your G Drive only. Okay. Have a nice time. So see you tomorrow at same time. We'll see that operator discussion in tomorrow session. Right.